my name is Dzung and I'm from the YouTube channel Honeysuckle, where we make friendly and accessible recipes for busy bees. If you guys are a busy bee, be sure to go check out my channel and subscribe. But today I am at the Honest headquarters. It's freaking beautiful here and I'm going to be showing you guys how to make baby food. I have an 11-month-old daughter and I've just been so passionate about making her baby food since she was able to start eating solids. So we're going to start off by making her breakfast, and this is a typical breakfast that I would serve her pretty much almost every day. So first, I have an avocado. It's a ripe avocado, and I would just give her maybe a little less than a quarter of it, and we're just going to cut it straight from here. A sliver about this size is probably good enough. I'll add it to our bowl, set this aside, and then I love mixing it with bananas. So for the banana, she is kind of a monkey, so she loves bananas, so I'm going to add maybe a little less than a quarter of it as well. Add that to my bowl. And we're just going to mash it down. I try to look for more like ripe bananas and avocados, just so it's easier to mash and go in. But if it's a little bit firmer, I tend to like that too because there's less sugar. And if your baby will eat it, then totally go for it. All right. That looks good. I don't mash it to the point where it's like pureed because I want her to experience texture and kind of be able to move it around in her mouth. And then we have some yogurt here. I like to just use regular plain yogurt. If you guys have any dairy allergies in your family, totally coconut yogurt is also really good too. But I'll add maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons directly into the bowl. Mix it up. And that is breakfast right here, you guys. Super easy, and she just eats it up. If I'm thinking, if she's hungry, like really hungry that morning, I'll add a little bit of the rice cereal or the oatmeal cereal in here and mix it together. It tends to thicken up the yogurt, but she loves it. And experiment and see what flavor combinations that your baby likes. Sometimes I actually mix it up and I do raspberries with peanut butter. My baby is not allergic to peanut butter, so that's why I do that. But if your baby is, you can totally substitute with nut butter as well. So that's it for breakfast. Next, I'm going to show you how to make a lunch. So let me get this out of the way. I'm just resetting here. All right, so I have a hot plate with some water in my pot that's already kind of steaming, but we're going to be steaming our vegetables. This is one of Eris's favorite baby food combinations. I think it's because it's the combination of like sweet, from the squash and the apples, and she is such like a meat eater. She loves chicken, so we have that in here as well. I'm actually going to save this for later when we finish it off, but as the steamer is heating up, I'm going to add some apples. Here I have half of an apple that I've already diced. I like to keep the skin on because that's where all the fiber and the good stuff is at. Add that into the steamer. Oh, and if you guys are wondering, I'm using this all-clad steamer. I've tried so many different steamers before I settled on this one, and it's perfect because I feel like it cooks everything evenly and it just fits perfectly on top of my pot. Next up, I have about half a cup of kabocha squash. If you guys have never had kabocha squash before, I would say it's a combination between a pumpkin and a sweet potato. Actually, I have one. Let me dump this in here and then I'll show you guys. This is a kabocha squash. It's so delicious. I grew up eating this with like soup, but it's actually, it's very similar to a pumpkin, but once you steam it up, it's sweet, it's nutty, it's perfect. If you guys have never tried this before, I highly recommend it. Aracey loves it. And then I'm gonna throw about a cup of kale in there as well. I like to use baby kale because it's not as bitter. I know you want to try to sneak in as much greens as possible for your baby because there's so much nutrients. Okay, now we're gonna let our water continue to boil and steam these babies up. So you guys might be wondering why, or actually, I have had a lot of questions on my channel about baby-led weaning, and I do a combination of both baby-led weaning and baby food. The reason why is because my baby is pretty, like, I don't know, okay. So the reason why is my baby tends to be very distracted when she's eating, and I try to just get food into her any way possible, and if I have to feed her through baby food, then so be it. But I've been really having fun trying different combinations of baby food. So we'll do mangoes. If you guys don't want to try the kabocha squash, another really great substitute for that would be either sweet potatoes or mangoes. It has that sweetness that babies love, but yeah, I think just trying to find any different combinations you can. For a while, she was really loving bell peppers, so I made bell peppers with coconut milk, spinach. I put chicken and squash in there, so it was kind of like Thai food, like my version of baby Thai food. She loved it. She loved it for a week, and then she got sick of it. So then I have to keep trying new things. Let's see, so this will probably take maybe a few minutes. Maybe we'll give it 3 more minutes. But in the meantime, let's see. I did want to show you guys other ingredients that we will be using for the baby food. I also have beans in here. So I like to add a little bit of starch, starchy vegetables or beans, legumes, a protein, and then as much veggies and fruits as possible. I don't like to overdo it, so maybe up to just 3. But trying these different combinations and testing out what she likes to eat has been really, really fun for me. If you guys like making baby food, I would love to see in the comments below what kind of combinations you guys have come up with. Let's see. I'd love to see if I can answer any questions. What is my baby's favorite recipe? Let's see. I would say this one is her favorite recipe. Anything with chicken, really. The other day, I fed her meatballs through the baby-led weaning method, of course, and she loved it. But anything with like a tomato marinara base now, she is really liking a lot of flavor. So now when I make her baby food, I'll try to add in a little bit of that, like the little seasoning, like the garlic powder, oregano, basil. It's crazy. There hasn't been anything that she hasn't liked. Let me think real quick what she has not enjoyed. Believe it or not, I've given her Brussels sprouts, like boiled, and she ate that. Not a ton, but she ate it. Whenever she doesn't like something though, or I feel like whenever she is over it, or she's like, she'll try everything, but if she's just over it and she doesn't want anymore, she'll throw it on the floor. And luckily, I have a dog that pretty much eats everything, so he's her buddy. She'll like feed him. I know I'm trying to break her of that habit, but they're BFFs, so it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, you guys, it's coming up to a steam, so I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. Feel free to ask any questions because I can see them right there. Are there other alternatives to the squash that I can use from James Mills? Yes, you can totally use sweet potatoes. I actually highly recommend sweet potatoes because it's so good, full of just like nutrients. So if you don't have access to finding kabocha squash, I would recommend doing sweet potatoes or even butternut squash. Butternut squash is also very sweet. She loves green beans and butternut squash. I would say those are her 2 favorite vegetables, and so if I am at lost at what to serve or make for her, I will definitely throw in those 2. Plus we always have them at home because they sell them for so cheap at Costco. Let's see, what else? Okay, let me check on this real quick. This is looking good, you guys. So when I'm steaming the vegetables, I don't want to overcook them because that's where you lose a lot of nutrients. And the reason why I'm steaming it because it's soft heat and it keeps all the nutrients inside the vegetables. And I cut the vegetables really, really small. If you guys are short on time, definitely cut your veggies small so that they'll cook faster. When you have those large chunks, sometimes I have to wait up to maybe 10-15 minutes for it to get soft enough. But yeah, little tip there if you guys are in a hurry. I love making baby food. It's so much more cost efficient than buying those baby food jars. I mean, I like the convenience of them if I'm in a bind, but I actually try to make her food every few days because number 1, I cook almost every day for our family, and I just use whatever we buy for our groceries for dinner, and I just steam aside for her and then puree it up and feed it to her. Any meat or like meatballs or something that we're making for our dinner, I'll just kind of tear it up and put it on her high chair and let her feed herself with that. But it's really easy and it's cost efficient. I know what goes in it and it's fresh. She can eat seasonally, locally, and all that good stuff. Okay, so I think our veggies are almost done. Again, I just want to cook it till it's soft and not, yep, this looks really good. If you can see from the top camera, I can go in to the kabocha squash with my spatula, and then the apples are nice and soft, so we are ready to puree, you guys. This looks so good. All right, let me get this off heat. And then I'm gonna move my mixer over, or my blender over, I should say. All right, I hope you guys can see this okay, but let me see if I have everything else. Yes, I do. All right, so we're gonna let this just cool down for a second because I don't like adding super hot stuff into the blender. Let it cool for a second, but just look how vibrant the veggies are. The kale is cooked down a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna add, thank you. So now I'm gonna add the beans. I have about 1/4 cup of white beans here. You can use your favorite beans. Black beans are also really great. Pinto beans, garbanzo. Oh, I've given her hummus before. I've made her hummus and she loved it. But I like adding legumes because it kind of thickens the baby food and it also keeps her full. And then the chicken. This is just store-bought chicken, but if you guys are able to make your own, go ahead and use that. Use pretty much any protein that you'd like. Or leave it out if you don't like it. And I'm just using maybe 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup right there. Just eyeball it. And then our cooked veggies. So to thin everything out, I just eyeball and I add in maybe 1/2 cup of water just to get things moving, and it helps make the consistency a little thinner so that she could eat it. That looks about good. Okay, now we're gonna puree it. Sometimes it doesn't really move, so I just take a spatula to burst through the air bubble, and then we'll continue pureeing. If you guys like to leave a little bit of texture for your baby, I would say this looks good, but just for the sake of blending it, I'm going to do it a little bit longer. That is pretty much it. I'll pour it into a bowl so you guys can see. Ta-da! It smells really good. It smells so fresh. My baby is gonna love this, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make baby food, and I hope it inspires you to make your own. Honestly, you guys, I made that all in real time, and it took less than 15 minutes. This whole blender right here, all this food will last probably 2 to 3 days. I would say it makes about 4 to 5 servings, so it's pretty generous. Anyways, leave a comment below and let me know what baby food combinations you guys like. And if you guys enjoyed watching me make baby food, sorry, I'm just like getting tongue-tied here. If you guys enjoy watching me make baby food, be sure to subscribe at my YouTube channel at Honeysuckle Catering, and I will see you